Let's talk about money. For a lot of us, just hearing the word budgeting can be a little stressful, but it really doesn't have to be. What if I told you there's a super simple, powerful way to get your money organized and working for you without the headache? Let's dive in.
So be honest, have you ever felt completely overwhelmed by complicated spreadsheets or of those budgeting apps that just feel like they create more work? You're not alone. That feeling of just kind of guessing where all your money is going, yeah, that's incredibly common. But what if there was a better way?
Well, there is. It's called the 50-30-20 rule, and it's so popular for one simple reason. It replaces all that financial anxiety with pure clarity. It's a framework that gives every single dollar you earn a clear job, which gives you the freedom to spend without feeling guilty.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. How does this rule actually work? Well, it's all about breaking down your income into just 3 really clear categories.
The rule is just beautifully simple. You divide your after-tax income like this. 50% of your money is for your needs, 30% is for your wants, and that final 20% is for savings and paying off debt. That's it. No 50 different categories, just 3 simple slices of the pie.
So let's start with the biggest piece of that pie. Half of your income, 50%, goes to your needs. Now, these are the absolute essentials. If it's a bill you absolutely have to pay just to live your life and get by, it goes right in this bucket.
So, what exactly counts as a need? Well, think of the non-negotiables. Your rent or mortgage, basic groceries for the week, the cost of getting to work, your utility bills, and, importantly, the minimum payments on any loans you have. These are the things you have to pay just to keep the lights on and a roof over your head.
All right, next up is the fun category, your wants. This slice, at 30%, is for all the stuff that makes life more enjoyable but isn't, strictly necessary for survival. And it's really important to remember, wants aren't bad. The goal here isn't to get rid of them, it's just to manage them consciously.
This could be pretty much anything from grabbing dinner with your friends, that new pair of shoes you've been eyeing, all your streaming subscriptions, or the costs for your hobbies. This category is really all about your lifestyle choices.
And now for the final and, I'd argue, the most powerful category, that 20% for savings and debt. This is the money that you're actively using to build a better, more secure financial future for yourself. This is you paying your future self first.
This 20% is your financial powerhouse. You can use it to build up an emergency fund for those unexpected costs. You could be investing it for the long term, saving for a big goal like a down payment or a vacation. Or, and this is a big one, making extra payments to get out of debt faster and buy back your financial freedom. All right, so the theory is great and all, but let's actually see how this works with some real numbers. We're going to build a full budget from scratch using a pretty practical example.
Now, just to keep the math super simple and really clear, let's imagine your after-tax income, the money that actually hits your bank account, is exactly $1,000 for the month.
First up, your needs. That's 50% of our $1,000, so that gives you $500. That could break down into, say, $300 for rent, $120 for groceries, and $80 for transportation. And just like that, your essentials are covered. Next, we've got your wants. 30% gives you $300 to play with. So maybe that looks like $100 for eating out, $120 for some shopping, and $80 for your internet and other subscriptions. See, your lifestyle spending is all neatly planned out.
And finally, your 20% for savings and debt gives you $200. You can put $150 of that directly into a savings account and then use the other $50 to make an extra payment on a loan. That helps you get out of debt even faster.
And there you have it, $500 for needs, $300 for wants, and $200 for savings. It all adds up perfectly to our $1,000 income. Every single dollar has a job to do. Nothing is left to chance.
Now, I know exactly what some of you might be thinking. That's great in a perfect example, but my rent alone is almost 50%. And you know what? That's a very real situation. So let's talk about what to do when your numbers don't fit perfectly into these boxes. The most important thing to remember here is this: do not panic. For so many people, especially if you live in an area with a high cost of living, needs can easily eat up more than half of your income. You haven't failed at budgeting. You just need to adjust the plan.
The real beauty of this rule is its flexibility. It's not set in stone. So if your needs are closer to 70%, maybe you adjust to a 70-20-10 split. You focus 20% on wants and make sure you still save 10%. Or maybe a 60-20-20 split works better for you. The percentages can bend.
Look, the main idea isn't to hit a perfect 50-30-20 every single month.
The real goal is to build the habit of saving. You have to make sure you always save something, even if it feels small. A little bit is infinitely better than nothing at all.
Feeling ready to give this a shot? Awesome. Let's wrap this all up with a few simple, actionable tips you can use to make this budget work for you, starting today.
First, just track your spending for a week. No judgment, just see where your money is really going. Second, if you need to cut back, do it on your wants slowly. Don't try to change everything overnight. Third, automate your savings. Set up an automatic transfer so the money moves without you even thinking about it. Fourth, always pay for your needs first before you spend on wants. And finally, remember this: if you overspend one month, just adjust and try again. This is all about progress, not perfection.
So that's the 50-30-20 rule. It's a simple framework to take back control of your money. It gives you permission to spend, it gives you guidance on how to save, and it gives you a clear path forward. So the only question left is, what job are you going to give your first dollar?